What is up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It is time for episode 2 of the Silver Studs. Thank you so much for checking out episode 1. And we've got some exciting things going on. So as you can see, I got my camera in a different position on purpose. I'm trying to block the record. If you'll recall, we had a really rough April. Now, it wasn't with the Silver Stud team. It was just kind of with the generic team that I had that we needed to put together. I think we were 10 and 17. Put ourselves in a bit of a deficit here. I just noticed now that we did end on a 4-game winning streak, which tells you just how bad it was going. It was 6 and 17 before that. Holy smokes, did things go off in May. As you can see here, though, it started off. Now, May 1st was actually in the on Monday, so it was the first 2 games there on Saturday and Sunday. We win the first 2, then I lose the next 4, and I'm like, okay, well, this isn't going that well. Boom! Then we win 7 straight, and I'm like, let's go. 2 losses, 4 more wins, another loss, 4 more wins, a loss, and then 3 wins, because again, June 1st was part of this game. So add that all up, and look at that, folks. We are 30 and 25. And all of a sudden, we're sitting 4 games back in second place. And here I thought this might be a dud first season just because we had built such a deficit. But it was just 1 month. We couldn't give up. I just was making sure that we had kind of a level set expectations. But that doesn't mean that we were going to give up. And here we go. Big first month with the actual silver team. We pop off. We end up going, let's see what the actual record was. 20 and 9. How's that suit? Oh, wait, no, actually, it would be 19 and 9 because, like I said, the first game of May did count for the April record, just how it works. So either way, still excellent. Still very happy with how things turned out. As you can see, what did we work on in the first episode? The hitting, and it is popping off. What are we going to work on this episode? The pitching, and it needs some work. So let's dive in. Let's take a look at some stats first. I think you might have noticed earlier. Let me move out of the way real quick again. We got our logo. We got our Charlotte logo cooking for the Texas Weens. She is a mini dachshund wiener dog. For those that are unfamiliar, she's wonderful. But anyway, let's go look at this offense here. I've even made a couple other, well, actually, I think just one other change. Now, I mentioned yesterday that I was going to let Tommy Pham kind of work through it so that we could kind of see the regression in action. Inaction is the right word, but all one word, as in there was inaction on his numbers. They were not going anywhere. Let me see if I can find him here. What's his? I don't know what his rating is. Pham, where are you at? You're making this difficult. He's still down for 2 more days. He did not regress. He got worse, or maybe not. He was a little bit better. I think his BABIP moved from 171 to 220. It just wasn't happening. So I decided to go ahead and move on from him. But let's take a look at the offense, take a look at some numbers. I keep saying take a look. Let's take a look at taking a look, and then we'll take a look at the look that we take a look at. Anyway, John Roseboro, we put him in as the starting catcher right now. We got Rosar still coming in every 3rd game and being the defensive backup. But the offense is just too much to let Roseboro not start consistently. And he's been great against righties. Oh, and he's doing a little something against lefties. Now, that's a tiny sample, 5 for 10, so I don't want to go too crazy over that. I'm still going to start Rosar against lefties, but he's been amazing, Roseboro has, against righties. That's been fantastic. You see Joe Rudy here. He's been perfectly solid. Walter Kennedy, who we picked up yesterday, has not been very good, actually, but he's down to 8th in the lineup right now based on that performance. Going to give him a little bit more time to see if we can figure some things out, but time's ticking. I think Sol White might need to get in. Well, he is already getting in every 3rd game, although this is a very recent change. I did this late in the month because of Kennedy's issues that he was having. So maybe we do this. We just flip. So Kennedy's now getting in every 3rd game. I mean, he's just been struggling way too much, and it's against righties and lefties. So I think putting him to the bench right now is the right move, and we're going to go with that. Sol White going to get a little bit more PT down here. Brooks Robinson doing his thing. We love the quality offense. You know his defense is popping off as well. He doesn't really strike out. He doesn't take a lot of walks, but when you don't strike out, I'm fine with that. And then we have John Beckwith, who's made his way into the lineup here. We had Oliver Marcel starting, but like Kennedy, he's been struggling, and I made the move. You know, he's been better against righties, so we can still get him in with some regularity there, but I figured I had to make a decision there, and John Beckwith has been hitting, especially against righties, more walks than strikeouts, so I made the change there. And then you see Marcel. Now, I did pick up this Tim Raines very late. Now, I did it kind of sight unseen. I was looking through the missions, and I mentioned this yesterday that you know, if there were some silver missions that I wanted to do, I'd go out and get those cards, add those players. I should have looked and seen that he only plays left field, and I knew as a silver he wasn't going to be the greatest card, but I'm a little underwhelmed with the defense. I'm still going to give him some more time though. I love Tim Raines. A player I really liked growing up, always advocated for him as a Hall of Famer, so I'm glad he made it. And we got to give him more time than this, because I don't think he's a 26% strikeout guy. I think his 200 BABIP will come up, but he's not even starting right now, so he's just mixing in here and there. And because there is no room at the inn, our outfield DH combo, which contains these bottom four down here, have been amazing. You see Kyle Tucker leads the team, or excuse me, he's second to Roseboro with a 1013 OPS. That's a 169 WRC plus. He's a very nice 69% better than league average. You got Lorenzo Cain. This is a surprise. I didn't think we would necessarily be playing Lorenzo Cain, but I can't take him out when he's performing like this. 134 WRC plus is brilliant. Defense and center, strong. And then Alex Rios, who I talked about yesterday, how much I like Alex Rios as a White Sox, and there was this card in MLB The Show that I was a really big fan of, and I couldn't find it quickly, so I went ahead and looked it up, and there it is. This was the card I was raving about. I just think that's beautiful card art. I love kind of the simplicity of the border, and then him in the red uniform. Oh, chef's kiss, and he was amazing in MLB The Show, so it kind of added to it. But he's been amazing for us as well. 150 WRC plus, 9 of 11 on the bases. I forgot to mention that Cain is 8 of 10, 4 for 5 for Tucker, and even 3 for 4 for Kirilloff. That's not even part of his game. Our DH, 159 WRC plus. By the way, this needs to change. I thought I took this off because I started Beckwith. Oh, you know what? Maybe I know what I was doing. Because I was giving him every third game, I was letting Beckwith stand. I need to keep Kirilloff in full time, though. I should not be costing him any games against righties. And frankly, he's actually doing a little something against lefties, too. But we'll worry about that a little bit later. So you see, the offense is cooking, and it has been a major component to our surge. I notice here that Rosar is actually not even doing that well against lefties, but two things. One, still love the plate profile here. In fact, I love the plate skills against righties. 267 BABIP. I think that'll come up. I'm just going to stick with what we've got, which is him starting against lefties, Roseboro getting in every third game. And then I actually do have Raines DHing against lefties because he is better against them, but I think Kirilloff's going to get in and start playing. Oh, wait, what? That didn't work. That failed. That was an epic fail. I'm going to put him in every third game against lefties. He's our primary pinch hitter against lefties. And that's what we're going to go with right now. Kennedy. Should he still start against lefties? I don't think so. I think Sol White should also not be in. What about Marcel? Yikes, just some real struggles here against lefties. What is I'm trying to think if there's not really any other flexibility here. Now, I know early in his career, at some point in his career, I should say, I don't know if it was early or when exactly it was, but I think Tim Raines played second base. Now, it's not going to help us with the silver card, but I wonder when that was and if they've ever made a card for that iteration of Tim Raines. He played second base back in 1982 for 36 games. And that's really the only time he played a significant chunk. And I put significant in extreme quotes because that's not even that much. But 1982, let's see what he did that year. He was an all-star. He had 78 stolen bases, led the National League. Okay, he was basically a league average guy. 277, 353, 369, was a 101 OPS plus. OPS plus is just like WRC plus, where 100 is league average, and then every point above is a percentage point, and below is worse than. He had 4 homers, 8 triples, 32 doubles. So he would be like a silver, I think, but with second base eligibility. Can they cook that up for me just so I can put him at second base? I don't know. Let's see if I can get them to make a card in the span of like a day. What year is this, by the way? Oh, 83. This is the very next year. And, well, I tell you what. If this card's a silver, he was markedly better in 1983. He hit 298, 393, 429. So if that's only a silver, then I'm thinking 1982 would actually be a bronze. So anyway, not that they're going to make it out of nowhere anyway. I'm going to give the guys June, Kennedy and White. We'll see what they can do, and we'll revisit then. But as it stands right now, they're the main guys that could be losing their job. I do need to make a move here at the top of the order. He cannot be all the way up there, taking an automatic out, basically. So who else is doing? Oh, Kane. Easy peasy. There we go. I'll move Reigns up a little bit. Okay, so that's set. Let's get into the pitching here, because that's been our issue insofar as we have an issue. Obviously, we just had a brilliant month. I don't want to be too hard, but that's definitely what our weak spot is. So I did get the Cole Henry. I made some moves offline to kind of set up a team, right? Because I wanted to have something for today, and I didn't want to make like a 3-hour video yesterday going through all the pitchers after doing all those hitters. So this is what I've got, and it's fine. You know, I'm looking here. We got 2 studs with Gallen and Rodgers, Wood, and honestly, even these guys at 450 and 458 respectively, Henry and Rios, that's fine. Like, I have no problem with that. You know, a lot of people complain that a quality start is the baseline of a quality start is a 4.50 ERA. They're like, what's quality about that? It's like everything. 6 innings, 3 runs is super quality. Your team is very much in it. And plus, that's only the baseline. That's not like the peak of a quality start. In fact, now I haven't studied this in a while, and I should do an update. But the last time I did this, which was like 4 or 5 years ago, but I bet it's actually improved. But when I did the study, less than 10% of quality starts were baseline 6 and 3. So if you hear someone complaining that a quality start is a flawed stat because 6 innings, 3 runs isn't that good, first off, tell them yes, it is. Because even if you're down 3-0, you're in the game. So that is absolutely quality. But also, there aren't very many quality starts that actually adhere to that baseline. Anyway, rant over. I'm looking at the rotation here. Let's do starting pitchers. And oh yeah, Peralta. I guess I could switch him. We'll switch him to RP just for the sake of what we're doing here, because I got him in the bullpen and he's pitching very well. So looking at our 5 guys, let's look at their strikeout minus walk rates. In fact, let me add that there. I could do the mental math, but you know what? I want to be lazy, so I'm going to put it on the sheet here so we can just sort. And we see 27% for Cole Henry. That's fantastic. For somebody who has one of our worst ERAs, in fact, our 3 worst ERAs are our 3 best strikeout minus walk rates. They're all above 20%. They're fine. Now, I see that their FIPS are running a bit high, and I see exactly why. It's because their home run rates are a little high, and that is a little bit concerning. So let's see here. You know, he's got mediocre movement. Urias also does. And then who's the other one? Oh, Alex Wood also does. Okay, so it tracks, but I still think there could be some expectation that at least Wood and Henry could get a little bit lower. 1.6 for Urias, that might stick. But 2.5, come on, that's unlucky. Like, that's way too high. I don't think he should be tracking like that for the whole year. So I'm gonna stick with these guys right now. I think that they're fine. I think that they have some regression toward a better ERA coming. Or even if they maintain status quo, we'll take that. As far as our 2 guys that have actually been performing well, they've got FIPS that are running a bit higher, and it's because Gallen's walking a few too many, and I'm not really sure why Rodgers. Why does he have a 409 FIP when he has a? Well, I guess his home run rate's a little high too, and he's got a 62 movement. So I don't know. I'm kind of looking at the starting five here, and I'm thinking that they deserve another month as is. We'll take a look and see if there's anybody that we want to acquire off the market right now, but I'm not racing out to get anybody. Let's take a look at the relief core. Again, we'll sort by strikeout minus one. Already is. Miza, our lefty specialist, is actually crushing righties as well. And that's the thing. Like, when you do a righty or lefty specialist, they can't only face that handedness. There's going to be times when they're obviously going to face the opposite handedness. But Miza's good enough to hang in there against righties. It's a stark split, so I still want him focused on lefties. But obviously, everything he's doing right now is fantastic. No complaints. Kevin Rodgers was somebody I picked up and was pretty excited about. I thought this was a pretty nice card. It's a 79. Love the stuff and movement. Decent enough control. And he's only walking guys at a 5% clip. So he's actually beating what you might expect from that control rating. So I really like what he's doing. And yet he has a 5 ERA and then 116 FIP. So that tells us that he's going to regress down, not necessarily to 116, but this 5 ERA is a bit fraudulent to the negative. And I see a 391 BABIP. That should smooth out. He's not going anywhere. I'm trusting Kevin Rodgers. I'm keeping him in a high leveraged situation. Well, actually, I don't have high leverage, but I'm going to actually put him in it. I'm going to give him high leverage. Keep him in a high leverage situation because he's going to be fine. And then we have Thayer is our next best at 24%. I like what he's got going. Everything looks pretty good here. A little bit of a high home run rate. 61 movement. Maybe he's been a little unlucky there. I don't think he should be allowing 1.6 homers per 9. I think we're going to go ahead and be fine with that. In fact, he's got better movement against righties, and those are the ones hitting the homers. So he's going to be fine. He's going to remain in his leveraged spot as well. Freddie Peralta, I already mentioned him. He's our stopper. He's out there dominating. Got 13 innings so far with a 2.02 ERA, 0.82 WHIP. Love the strikeout minus walk ratio. It's fantastic. Everything's cooking for him. He's a stud. This is why I have him in the bullpen too. You know, he doesn't quite fit as a reliever as a starter, because both the movement and control are a little suspect, and the stamina is pretty low too. So that's why he went right into the bullpen when I scooped him, and he'll remain there. Josh Taylor's been solid. And he is doing his best work against lefties, which we expect and we like. A little bit suspect against righties, but still passable there. I think he can improve there, but at the very least, we have him in middle relief, ideally facing lefties more often. Then we have Tyler Rodgers. He is a righty specialist. He does have a pretty stark platoon split. We don't really want him facing lefties too often. An inning and a third tells me nothing. I mean, to be honest, the 5 innings combined don't really tell us anything. And that's the thing. We're still dealing with a lot of small samples here. We're just going to keep him in this role, hope that he faces a lot of righties, and be good with that. And then John King. Now, John King was starting. He was on the original squad, and he started in April. So you see here, he got a couple starts. He had a nice ERA, but a really high WHIP. Like, he was never going to maintain a 2.02 ERA as a starter. He jumps in the bullpen and says, I'm actually a beast as a reliever. 7 2/3 scoreless, still running a very poor strikeout rate, but also a good walk rate. So we'll take that balance. And that's why you saw I took him out of the high. I don't know why I had high leverage. I think that was just a mistake there. Rodgers was supposed to have the high leverage, and King was supposed to have the secondary specialist role. And, he's solid. I think he's perfectly solid. He can go in a couple extra innings there if we happen to have a starter leave early because he has the extra stamina, and he's fine as is. And then Luis Cessa has a 0 strikeout minus walk rate, yet he's maintained a 2.38 ERA. Now, the FIP is 4.11, and the only reason it's actually somewhat decent despite a 0 strikeout minus walk rate is because he has a 6.4 hit rate and he hasn't allowed a homer. Bottom line is, he's a little bit of a fraud right now. You look at the 132 WHIP, and a 2.38 ERA, the whip says the ERA is going to go higher. Same with the strikeout rate. We're probably going to replace Sessa right now. I do think he would improve from this. Like, I don't think that he's a 0 strikeout minus walk rate type of guy. Like, there's nothing about his numbers that suggests he should be that bad. But I think we can make an upgrade here. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I do like that he has the little extra stamina there. That makes him a decent reliever, but we can find somebody better. In fact, I might already have somebody. I promise I didn't set this up. I feel like it's like, oh, what if I have somebody? I just thought about somebody that I scooped yesterday because I saw they were in the market, and they're rarely in the market. So I went ahead and bought him, and his name is Jeremy Fakak. And I had to cop him because, like I said, if last year's any indication, he was a difficult find in the market. And as you can see, he's not there right now. I jumped when I saw him, thinking that we would probably want to slot him in at some point. Sessa seems like the obvious move. We do a onesie twosie right there. What's a onesie twosie? What am I talking about? I'm saying stupid shit. Put him in middle relief. Actually going to do the use more often and the high leverage situation for him. So now we have Fakak, Rodgers, Thayer, and Peralta as our high leverage guys. I like that. Everybody else is a specialist. Bounce back over there. That looks wonderful. I like that. I like where that's at. I'm chill with that. I do still want to go into the market, see what else is out there right now. Maybe pick up some guys that we'll put in our reserves and consider down the line. But also I want to show you some of the other folks I've purchased. I got this Nolan Aronado. He seems like a very affordable player to me. Under 1,000, I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. Like, nothing stands out offensively, but it's all solid. And then, of course, the brilliant defense. So I copped him. Maybe he's just super common, and that's why he's so cheap. But I went ahead and scooped him. I got a Starling Marte here. I was hoping for better defense, but this is fine. Maybe I packed this. I actually don't remember, to be honest. Bruce Petway. Our catcher situation has been fine, so he's not making any inroads right now, but he's somebody to have down the line if we need him. Tim Anderson, Chet Brewer, Joe Carter, Jabba Chamberlain. Jabba Chamberlain was somebody I got, and he'll be our next man up if we need another reliever. I like a lot of what he does. The brilliant stuff, high quality movement, controls a little bit off. That's something we can live with. That's kind of a reliever mold. Got double duty Ratcliffe. I talked about him yesterday. I don't know if I got him yesterday, to be quite honest. But he obviously has the starting and the pitching and catching ability. You love to see it. Decent little hitter, too, especially against lefties. So I thought he was kind of a prize to have as well. I don't believe he cost us too much either. So easy pickup. Fausto Carmona. This was a situation where I'm like, well, and this was before I knew we were going to have a bunch of home run issues. But I love the movement, extreme ground ball. We're usually going to build a team that has quality defense to take advantage of that. So I thought he'd be a nice guy to have in reserves just in case things went sideways. Alex Cintrone. I just love, kind of the high contact, gap power, avoid K type of guy. Not a great defender, though. So not somebody I'm looking to start consistently. But I wanted to have him. LeMahieu, Marte, Rosarena, nothing crazy there. Joe Biagini, again, I liked it, and this is happenstance that we happen to be struggling from some home run issues, and then I have these guys with big movement lying in wait. I have two Brandon Crawford. Oh, we have a duplicate. This was the one who was playing, and then this is the one we packed, I believe. I also copped this Danny Salazar. Basically, if Freddie Peralta had fallen on his face completely, Salazar is somebody I would have gotten. I believe I put in the buy order or the bid for Boone yesterday. I had talked about how he's been a tournament god for me, a perfect draft god for me, and so I wanted to get him. We put in the bid, we got him. And then just a handful of other guys here. I talked about Rondell White. I think we made this purchase yesterday, so nothing else here to really see. Let's dip into the market a little bit, and then we'll finish up, see if there's anything that really jumps out at us. in the starters market specifically. Let's see what's going on there. That Jackie Brown, I looked at him yesterday, but truthfully, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, pretty standard. Nothing crazy, but usable. I don't know who that is, though. Generally, I would like to have some knowledge of a player if I was going to get them. Although maybe I should get some guys that I don't know, and then we learn about them together. As I mentioned before, we could do some of that. Oh, here's another future legend. I didn't know Dane Dunning was one. Oh, that's not bad. They give him some pretty darn good stuff. I kind of like that. I don't think I'm going to cop, though, because he's 33 over his last 10, and they're asking for 44. Nah. Bring down the price, fella. Or lady. I don't know. I don't know who's selling him. Obviously, this is like a supercharged Fausto Carmona. Even worse stuff, but better movement, extreme ground ball. There's a mold where he kind of fits the team, but it's not right now. This Ron Guidry Build-A-Legend. I like that stuff. That's kind of a relief situation, though. Nobody really jumping out. Sir Sidney. He's whatever. He's whatever. See if there's anybody else here within these first couple pages that... Steve Blass. This is pre-walk issues, I imagine. Pre-yips. Interesting story, Steve Blass is. Here we go. Cannonball Jackman. Amazing name. Love the control. I'm not disinterested in this card here. Let's see if there's any more. Oh, this is a pretty fair price. 1989, he goes 2023. I'm going to put him on the sideline. Put him on the reserves there. And he's somebody we could definitely consider for a future season or later this year. Who knows? We got to have reserves. We got to have guys ready just in case, you know? Tony Disco, Anthony Desclafani getting a player of the month there. Now this would just exacerbate our issues with the home run situation, so no dice there. Dave Brown, standard solid guy, a little bit of hitting, nothing crazy there. Hal Schumacher, I've used this Hal Schumacher a bunch in Perfect Draft to mixed results. I don't remember him as being like excellent, but certainly not worthless either. Herb Pennick, I recognize the name, but I don't know. Holds runners and has great stamina, great control. Switch hitter, but one power. You love the one power. Just, hey, every once in a while. One out of every 5,000 at-bats, I can hit a homer. Michael Fulmer. Man, I'm a Michael Fulmer fan. I'm a Tigers fan, obviously. I'm wearing a Tigers cap right now. I loved Michael Fulmer, man. That rookie year, I really thought it was the start of something big. Injuries have really sidetracked him since then. He came back this year. He was closing, looking solid, but injuries again have sidetracked him. Barney Brown, big-time control. He can sack bunt like a mother. Don't care, though. We don't bunt. Hashtag don't bunt. Bill Gullickson. This guy, I always tell the story about Bill Gullickson because he epitomizes this phenomenon for me. And this is probably a pre-internet type of thing, but I loved, as I got older, learning about players who had like full careers before they came into my consciousness. Because to me, I remember Bill Gullickson as like the one decent Tigers pitcher for a little while. Because we were terrible as a kid when I was growing up as a kid. 84, we won it. I was only 3. 87, we were pretty good, but I was 6. That's when I really started to pay attention. But I have like very faint memories from 87. But then, you know, my whole coming of age, the Tigers were a laughing stock. But we did have Bill Gullickson in the early 90s, which ended up being toward the end of his career. He was a 20-game winner back when that was like a calling card. If you were a 20-game winner, that meant something. I mean, it still does today. Like, if you can get 20 wins, you probably had a good season. The problem with win-loss record, especially in today's game when guys go 5-6 innings, is people put too much importance on it as if it determines how good a pitcher is, and that's just not the case. But anyway, all I knew him was as the, you know, like decently solid Tigers pitcher that we had, workhorse type, from in his mid to late 30s that we had for 4 years, and then he retired. And then it wasn't until later when I started becoming like really obsessed with baseball and history that I learned that he was like, had his full 20s with Montreal and Cincinnati and Houston, and he was a pretty damn good pitcher. He had some really good seasons, including 1981 was really good, 1982, 83. They were all pretty solid seasons. This year's 85, and he was all right that year. He's kind of a league average type of guy. But it's just, he epitomizes that notion of like, oh wow, they had a whole ass career before they ever entered my consciousness as a child. And I'm just fascinated by that. Like I said, it's probably a pre-internet thing, but I think that probably still happens to people sometimes where they're like, oh wait, he played here? I only knew him as this player. I think it's mostly, maybe it's not a pre-internet thing, maybe it's just a kid thing, that you only know of players, like when you learn of them, when you first learn of them, you learn of them as a player on your favorite team, but not necessarily what they did before that. Sergio Mitre, I remember him, extreme ground baller, kind of a Ching-Ling Wong type of guy. Sam Gibson, don't know the name, but he's a Tiger. Extreme fly ball, no. We're not trying to give up more homers. Rats Henderson, what a name. What a freaking name. Not that great of a pitcher, though. Sorry, Rats. Slick Castleman, another brilliant name. I mean, he's Home Run City. Otherwise, I like this teal here that we're seeing, but that's a no-go for me. That's a no-go. Anybody else? No, nobody else really standing out to me. I almost called this guy Money Stratton. Monty Stratton's a decent name, but Money Stratton would have been a pretty badass name. So nobody's really jumping out there among the starters. Let's take a look at some relievers. See if anybody else stands out. We got the Fakak yesterday. Nate Jones. Who? Nate Jones. Now, this kind of goes the opposite of the Alex Rios situation I talked about in MLB The Show. I am brutal with Nate Jones cards in MLB The Show, so I have kind of a negative connotation with him. But that's a pretty fine looking card. I'm not sure we necessarily need him though. Tom Timmerman, another Tiger. Love the movement. It's not bad. Not really standing out as somebody I need though. Alex Colomé from the Rays. Good strikeout stuff. Yeah, decent little reliever. I'm not seeing anything that really stands out above what we have, Everyday Eddie here, though, as a lefty, really dominates lefties, capable against righties. Expensive, though. Why is it? Oh, never mind. There you go. That's why he's so priced. It has to be, right? Dick Hyde. I'm not saying anything. You guys are making the jokes, okay? I didn't say it. You guys said it in your head, so cut it out. It's a family channel. Dale Thayer. I believe Dale Thayer had like a really good mustache. Unlike me. Oh, he got a full ass beard. I thought he just had like a mustache, but maybe he did, and I'm just seeing this like full ass beard picture, but I don't know. Here's what he looks like in his baseball reference picture. Yoink. Full ass beard. That's not what I thought I remembered. I thought he just had like a dope mustache, but not really. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything else that's jumping out here. As far as these names, I'm not looking at everyone. I'm looking for names that I know. I know this is Clay Meredith, but I always called him Claw because there was no Y at the end of his name, and I'm an idiot. So, Claw. Maybe we put a bid on Claw if we can get him cheap. I don't know. We had that bid, by the way. It went exactly as I suspected. If you remember yesterday, the Jaron Duran bid, trying to cop him on the cheap. Nope, he was scooped at the full price, which I expected. So, I'd be more interested in this Jeff Zimmerman if it wasn't extreme fly ball. I really want to avoid that, especially with a 59 movement. That's just begging for some home runs. Bob Miller, don't know the name, but he is a Tiger. He's all right. He's a lefty too. Maybe. Is there another one that's cheaper? Nah, just that one. Nah. That doesn't really do it for me that well. So we'll go back over here. There you are again, Claw. Mike Fetters. This Scott Ruskin. He's kind of nice. The controls obviously iffy, but you love to see the 85-77 there. Oh, what the hell is this? Get out of here. Get out. You should be arrested for trying to charge that much for Scott Ruskin. How dare you? How absolute dare you? Dick Lines. Again, I didn't make the jokes. You guys did. Stop it. Behave. Tom Martin, I believe he's a lefty. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I've used him in Perfect Draft. Mike James. I like him too. So there's like some decent guys, but they don't really jump off the page. They're not necessities that are greatly going to improve the team. And I don't want to switch guys out like every single month, because then you don't really give anybody a chance to kind of settle in. Kiko Calero, damn it, if the movement was a little bit better. Of course, if it was better, then he wouldn't be a 71 either. So, no, I think we're going to kind of stand pat with where we're at. We're putting in Fakak for Sessa. Otherwise, we're going to roll with this squad. I know we didn't really build this the way we did with the hitters, because I kind of already did it on my own. But we're going to ride this pitching for June. See if we can improve upon these numbers. Let's kind of take a mental snapshot here. We see we're 14th in ERA, 9th and 5th. It's the bullpen ERA that really needs to improve. 13th in WAR. Yeah, a lot of double-digit numbers here. We are second in strikeouts, which I like, but we're also second in walks. We don't want that. I imagine. Well, wait. Does the walks rank in terms of most, wherein second is bad? I should maybe look that up. But anyway, that's going to wrap us up. Big month. May and the first game of June went very well. Can't wait to see what's in store for this team. We are in the thick of it. We have overcome the bad first month, and all of a sudden we are in second. Check in again after hopefully a big June, and we'll see what's what. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.